It was at this moment that he knew.
He bucked up. Welcome. You're listening to Bucked Up with Sam Buck.
Fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you have fucked up.
And welcome, Same Dude, to the podcast. I've heard your stuff through Struggle Mike. I've been a fan of your stuff, and it's cool to actually have you on.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
This is a positive thing, but I think you are probably the youngest person I've had on the podcast, because I'm usually the youngest person in the rooms I'm in, but like, dude,
I'm 19, so
yeah, and you are fucking following your dreams.
Yes, sir.
It's funny, we were just watching your first video ever.
Yes.
With a shout out Speedy.
Yeah, Speedy the icon.
A shout out. You were 15 when you did that?
I was.
And you did a remix to what Russ song? Flip.
Yeah, Flip.
And you were saying it's a great track. Everyone should go check it out. It's really good. But you were saying that you like cringe watching it.
Yes, I do.
It's like what makes you cringe about like I just forced you to watch it. Like what makes you cringe about it?
It's just knowing that back then I was in such a different time like than I was now. And it's just the normal like looking back on it and thinking like I could have done this differently almost. But it's kind of like a good cringe because I'm glad I did it like that way, because that's shaped up to how I am now. So
yeah, you were 15 at that time. How long were you rapping at that point?
I was in the studio probably like 3 times a week with Speedy, as much as I can with going to school and everything. So, but I started writing and everything when I was 11, so pretty young. Wow.
So you grew up with rap, but started writing at 11.
Yes.
Did you know you wanted to do it? Like,
I didn't know I wanted to do it that young because I wasn't confident in everything like that I did as far as music until I was about like 15. And I started to get in like to the studio and everything. What
were you listening to at like 11 for rap?
For rap, I was listening to a lot of WuTang because of my father. So like a lot of Ghostface and RZA, and I would listen to Method Man a lot, lots of him, and DMX, rest in peace.
R.I.P. Yeah.
But yeah, lots of stuff like that.
It's fun. When I was 12, my dad took me to see WuTang Clan in concert too. So that's like amazing. I grew up with rap too.
That's awesome.
Were you writing like to beats, or were you writing like poetry?
I was kind of writing like just like freehand, like just like off of my head, like type of stuff, like stuff that just like rhymed in my head. But I knew that I can make something like better. And
were you like secretive about it at first, or
I was very quiet about it. I was very quiet.
How long into it until you like opened up?
Probably till I was about 15, 16 to when I said I really want to go to a studio and like put my voice over a sound.
And you told your dad?
I did.
Was he like the first? Did you tell like friends and stuff that you were rapping?
Some friends knew, yeah. Like I did it like occasionally, like at like parties and stuff.
Yeah.
But besides that, it was really like low key. But my dad was the first one to know that like I wanted to pursue it.
Were you nervous telling him?
Kind of, yeah. Because it was just something that felt so different, like for me, because like I wasn't like in like chorus or anything or like anything crazy like in school. It was just something that was like really different. So
it's cool how supportive your dad's here. Shout out.
It's to my
supportive
dad.
It's great how supportive he is of you and speaks so highly. Like even when you're not here, like you wanted to show me the videos, like very supportive. And he was saying that he was rapping when he was growing up too.
Yes, he was.
But it is like my dad is a musician, but like telling him I wanted to like follow my dream, you know what I mean? Like that's a weird thing to actually decide on. But like you're young, you're doing it. Like you have songs with rappers that are huge at a younger age than most. Having support like that is
it's a huge thing.
Yeah,
definitely is.
So how soon after you telling him did you like go to the studio for the first time?
Probably like a month after, because he asked around, he like put stuff on Facebook, and then one of his friends, I forget her name, I'm so sorry, but she knew Speedy and she was in contact with Speedy, and she led us to Speedy, and then that all kind of.
And that's how you met him?
Yes, that's how I met Speedy. It was through one of my dad's mutual friends.
That's pretty cool. And you're still working together. What that was
with Speedy.
That was 4 years ago.
Yes, just about.
And it's crazy. Shout out Struggle. Shout out Brick Boys. Like it's crazy to see how much has happened in 4 years.
So much has changed. Yeah. It's crazy.
And in your like informative years, you know, like these are big years for you.
Yeah, definitely.
When did you realize that you were like different than other people, that you were like, I do want to just focus on this? Like hitting the studio 3 times a week at that age, not a lot of people would give up that amount of time.
Right. To be honest, I kind of wish that I did more back then, because I would be so much farther than now. But looking at it, it was kind of just like I realized that I wanted to do something when I moved schools, because I went to Cleveland Hill. Then I went to, I changed and went to performing arts. I didn't go for music itself, but I went to pursue in communications. And I took that and I made my music videos at school. And I kind of had a mindset of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it was just different, because I kind of made a big step.
Were there anyone else? What did you have friends around you that were trying to do the same thing, or were you kind of like on your own?
I believe I knew Kevin before I moved schools. So once me and Kevin like really started going into the studio together, doing everything, it really just changed like everything. Like I really knew that I wanted to kind of push it. And it was kind of hard because I only knew Kevin through the studio. Like we didn't go to school or anything like together. So I only saw him when I was at the studio. So like people had a different like opinion with people that I was around normally. But yeah.
And you're now at the studio, you're making music. How long into it did you make that video?
That video?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like how long into recording was that track made?
Oh, that was probably made like 2 or 3 months into recording, I would say.
Oh wow. Yeah. And you said you got good traction off of that right off the bat.
Yes,
was that the first time that you had gotten like a buzz?
Yes, definitely. And it was just like a little like SoundCloud type of buzz. Like people heard it and like came up to me and like told me about it. And like that they liked it. So it was cool.
Was that like crazy at a young age to get that?
It was. It definitely was, because I wasn't like, again, like not a lot of people like really knew who I was like when I walked around. So like for them to like come up to me and be like, hey, we heard it and it was like super fire. And like it was just different.
And it gave you that kind of like push to keep going, you know, like
definitely
2-3 months in.
Yeah.
So that happened. Did it blow up like right away?
It wasn't right away. It definitely needed like its promotion. We all definitely put in the promotion, but it was probably only like a week or 2 after when people really started to like see it going off, because it was my first one. So people really wanted to like see what I was actually doing. Was
that the first song that you put out? Like,
no, it was not the first song I put out.
Do you, so what was the first? Did you put tracks out before you were in the studio?
Yes. Not before I was in the studio. I made a music video probably a month into being in the studio, but it was actually a music video for school when I was in communications. So I made a song at the studio and went to school and shot the video, did it all there. And
did you have to like censor yourself for the music at school? Like when I was in college, I did stand up for like I studied theater, so I could do stand up. That was like, I was like you. I was like, oh, I can use this one thing to get me to
somewhere else.
But when I would do the stand up I wanted to do, my school was not happy with it. So I had to like cater to the school. And then when I got out, I was like, oh, I can focus on what I actually want to do.
Now I can do what I want.
Exactly.
Right.
Was that what you had to do, or was the school like free reign?
No, I definitely had to censor myself. I was only a sophomore in high school, so they were really kind of strict on that. But you know, it is what it is. I made it work. So
yeah, I feel like that's probably, at least it's a good learning experience, because you learn to work with restrictions.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you get free
I worked
reign,
with what I had.
Yeah.
So,
Did you like, do you ever listen back to those songs, like your first ones?
To be honest, I have a whole file like in my phone of every song like that I've ever made. And the other day I was going through them and I was just like listening to them, just going back, and it's crazy. It's crazy to really listen to it.
Do you cringe?
Yes. Definitely my first song I ever made. It's just because I've just evolved so much from what I used to be.
Do you see the like seedlings of what you are now in that though? Like,
yes,
oh,
definitely.
I see the arc that I've made.
Yes, I've seen where I've came from, and I've taken it under my wing and just accepted it. Because again, like I said, if I didn't start that way, I probably wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah. And you are very humble about your stuff. And we were talking about this before, that when you like, not liking your stuff is the thing that keeps you pushing.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of like to be a perfectionist at some points.
I don't know if you feel this, but like being young and I'm 23, so I'm older than you, but for the people, like, I'm young.
Yeah, you're definitely
it's like
young.
The drive or the like hatred of the stuff is the thing that keeps me going, like keeps me not lazy. But it is hard because you are overly critical of your stuff.
Of yourself.
Yeah.
Your biggest critic is yourself.
Do you have like, are you hard on your stuff now? Like, do you have a tough time putting stuff out there?
I definitely can. Like if I don't think I sound a certain way on a song like that I really want to, I'll go back on it and I'll try to change it. But I definitely feel more comfortable with what I'm doing now because I've grown into what I know that I want to be. So
when did you think how long in and did you find that? The like wanting, that this is like, you found like, this is what you want to be.
I think it was when I started doing shows and when I started to actually perform my music live, and when people started to kind of grab it live and started to like it like in person.
How old are you when you had your first show?
My first show, I believe I was 15 years old when I had my first show ever.
Wow. Where was that at?
It was Mohawk Place downtown.
What was that? Were you allowed in the club? Like, you were 15.
I was. Yeah, I had to get an X on my hand. So
performing with the X's on your hand.
So that was pretty cool.
What was that experience like? Like 15? Were you, nervous as shit?
I was super nervous. I was terrified. It was Speedy's show, and he invited me to come up for a song just because I had started making music like with him, and it went really good though. So
do you like, when was, I know it sucks that the world's been shut down for like a year, but when was your last show?
Our last show was at Stamps, the bar, and that was about a year ago, I want to say February. Yeah, that was our last show.
Was that did you do more than one song there?
Yeah. I have, like, now we have our whole group and I do probably like 5 or 6 songs a show.
That's great, and it happens so quick. But of course, you still get nervous when you're up on stage. What's your like preparation before a show?
To be honest, I just really think to myself, like, do I want to go up there and look like an idiot, like, or do I want to like really show them that I'm really about this? Like, I don't want to go up there and feel like I'm wasting anybody's time.
Yeah. Do you go over like the songs in your head beforehand?
Oh, 1,000%. I listen to them on the way there. I can.
Yeah, I feel like there's 2 types of people, and they always like I have friends who get so prepared beforehand, and I'm the type, I don't know if it's worse or better, but I feel like I would rather not think about it right before I go on stage. It's like the last thing I want to think about is that, because then when I get up on stage, it's like, oh, if I know it, then I know it. But I wish I was a more prepared person.
Right.
Do you like write your shit out? Like, do you write freehand or do you type? Or?
I have it in my notes on my phone. That's where I usually do it. I should definitely write it though.
Do you have like a set routine of writing, or do you just do it when you feel like it?
Usually, nowadays it's usually when I come to the studio, because that's like when I feel the best is when I'm around my people and just being in the environment. But schedule wise, it's not really like scheduled. It's just when I have like I say I get a beat one day and I'll listen to it and then like I'll think about it, and then the next day I'll come back to it and really try to do what I want with it.
Yeah. It's so you do the 2-day process of the. How many days a week are you in the studio?
Am I in the studio right now? Unfortunately, I wish I was in here more. I'm going to be here about 5 days a week though. Hopefully. Are
you still in school right now?
I'm not in school right now.
So you're going to be 5 days a week. Is that sorry, I'm trying to figure, I don't know what, I lost my train of thought right here, but like 5 days a week, how many hours are you in the studio when you're there 5 days a week?
I'd probably say everything stretched out because our team is so big, and when we're working together, we all try to get the perfect amount of time and the perfect amount. So I'd probably say like it can go 8-hour days at some points. So.
And you work better with others?
I can work better with others. There are definitely times where, like, say I'm writing for my album, then I'll definitely take time for myself to write.
You just had an album come out.
Yes, I did.
Or
an EP.
An EP. What was that, like a month ago?
Yes. It was the beginning of this month, May 2nd.
Was that your first one with Struggle?
Yes.
That you put out?
Yes, Struggle Cartel, yeah.
How long did that take to put together? It's 6 songs?
Yes, it's 6 songs. It took about, I'd probably say 4 or 5 months, just because of how much of a perfectionist I want to be. Yeah. I had to go back over, and I had other songs that I thought were going to be a part of it, but I took them out. I redid them and stuff like that.
How many tracks did you record for it?
I probably recorded, there's probably about 7 extra tracks that didn't make it. So probably like 15, 16 in total.
Is that tough, like picking what songs you're going to put on or not?
It can be. It definitely
do you make that
be.
decision, or do you like have other people help you with it?
We usually all come together and like listen to the albums and stuff, and all really try to do it, because my vision of myself might be different than other people's. So, well, it definitely is different than other people's, but
that's a weird thing to like realize. Like, yeah. I'll have episodes that I hate, or I'll be like, I look like a idiot, and then they'll be like, oh no, that's your best one. But it's
like, I love it.
You have such a different version of yourself than other people do.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But that's good that early on you have that mentality, because I think some people think that they're going to be set in their ways, and then they're like, oh no, that's not how it actually works.
Right. Exactly.
You have the people around you and Struggle and Brick Boys. Do you have like non-rap friends that follow their passions in other ways?
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of friends that are artists, and a lot of friends that do like theater and stuff, and a lot of friends that shoot videos, not for just for rap and stuff, but follow in other ways. So
I think that's the most important, is because like I like watching other people do things in other fields, because then not that, oh, I want them to help me, but it's like, oh no, I can use my strengths to help you, and you can use your strengths to help me. Like,
exactly. And you can learn something else. Like, you don't need just one source of information. Like, you want to really be kind of taking in from everywhere.
Do you film music? Like, do you do any videography anymore or anything?
Not really. After I left high school, I want to really bad. But usually we have people that shoot videos now.
Yeah.
So.
And you're focusing on the one thing. I studied film, and it made me dislike it. Like, I thought that was going to be the thing I loved. And then I studied it, and I was like, this isn't for me. When I realized that other people love it more than me, it's like,
it's different.
Yeah, if you don't have a passion for something, it's hard. Like, if you don't have a passion for something, you're not going to be going to the studio 5 days a week, you know?
Exactly, right.
Do you ever feel like, shit, like I'm young, I want to like live a little bit, or are you happy with?
There are definitely times. I have my fair share of everything. Like, I have a very good schedule with myself
Mhm.
as far as everything works out. So there can be times where it's like that, but I'm pretty happy with how everything is.
And it's cool having a supportive team around you, especially since you are 15 and you're still with the guy, like everyone.
Yeah,
That's really important for growth too.
definitely.
Did you think, like, when you first started working with them, did you realize that it was something special?
I did because I've previously, like before I went like to the studio, a couple people knew like that I rapped from when I rapped at parties, and they would try to rap like with me, and like we would do stuff, and it just never linked up with how it did when I went with Speedy and then met Kevin, and then met with Grenzy, and then just everyone came in. So
And you're all still there.
yeah, we're all still here.
Did you like what the Buffalo scene is pretty big now? And I guess so 4 years ago was like 2016. That was right when Buffalo was starting to pop up a little bit outside of Buffalo. Did you know, like, were you a fan of the Buffalo scene at all growing up?
Growing up, I definitely was surrounded by it. And I definitely was. Are you saying like 2016, like
yeah, like were you listening to like, I don't know, like the Buffalo rappers, like Griselda affiliated?
I did know Benny in 2016. Benny was very like, he wasn't like he is now, but I knew who he was. So I was on Benny, and then I knew Conway because he was with Shady Records. So
that's crazy. I mean, you have a track with Benny, and you have a track with Rick Hyde. How long ago did that happen? 2 years ago?
Yes, 2 years ago I made a track with Benny
off of Shoutout Struggle Mike.
Yes, Shoutout Struggle Mike
off his album
The Great Escape.
How did that come together?
That came together. I was at home one night, and my dad was out with Mike, and I got a call saying that I was gonna be getting a feature with Benny, and I had to really step my game up. So it was just crazy. It was crazy.
You killed that verse. That's the first verse I heard you on, and I was like, I didn't think you were young. You like young when I first heard you. You do have like an older voice.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah,
I get that a lot.
Were you like, when you got that call, were you like, shit?
Yeah, I was kind of just stuck. Like I was like, whoa, like Benny the Butcher, like Benny, and yeah, it was crazy. But I knew like I really wanted to.
Did you have a verse that you were using that you were pre-written, or like how did that verse come together?
That verse came together. I had like 5 different verses that I had to write for it because I didn't like do anything like take it from anything else. Like I wanted something that came from something new. Like knowing that I'm going to make a song with Benny, not just something that I just like wrote. So
how long did it take you to write that? Or you said you wrote 5, but how long, like from getting the call until you finalizing the verse?
It took a little bit because I didn't know how the song was going to be laid out, because Speedy ended up also being on that song, and we didn't know that at first. So once everything was together, and then we got Benny's verse, and then I listened to his verse first, and I was like, okay, so this is how I have to come. And then that's how everything kind of started out. So it was probably about a month and a half that I had to wait to like actually do it. But once I did it, I was really happy with it.
And you're hard on your stuff, but you wrote 5 verses for the.
I had to rewrite my verse like 5 times because like I would just go over and over, just be like, I don't think so.
What made you? I mean, you just knew when that one was done that was it.
Yeah, as soon as I actually went into the booth and actually spit it, and it came out exactly how I wanted to, I was like, all right, send it to Benny.
Do you feel that way with all your like verses that you've worked with some great artists, 38 Special, Rick Hyde, like, and you hold your own with these rappers that like, fuck, 38 Special has an album with Cool G Rap, like, and and you have some song that you hold your own with them on.
Thank you.
Do you know when those verses are done that you're like, this is it?
Definitely can be. Definitely can. Like when I did the song with 38 Special, I was definitely skeptical on it because it was a different flow. It was definitely a different for me. But once it came out and I got really great feedback on it, I did the video for it like a month later, and it all came out together.
What a track that you have out were you most nervous for?
I'd probably say the Benny one, because that was my first big album that I was on with someone with a really big name.
Yeah. And then you were saying that we were just watching the video that you shot with Mad Hatton and Rick Hyde that you went to New York to film the video for. Was that the first time you were in the city?
That was my first
And you
time.
got to film in Heatmaker's studio.
Heatmaker's studio.
How did that come? Was that like, how did that come together?
Going to Heatmaker's?
Yeah.
I went on the trip with Mike. Mike had everything set up.
Did you know that was the song you were going to be filming something for when you went there?
I once again practiced so hard before I went down there because I knew. But honestly, it wasn't as bad because Rick Hyde, and I didn't know this, but Matt Hatton, they're like the most humble people. So it was really just a bunch of people just hanging out, shooting a video. Like it wasn't anything to even be stressed over about.
Was that, how long did the video take to make?
We shot all day. We did it in one day, but we shot it for probably like a good 10 hours throughout the day.
And is that your biggest video out, or is the one with 38 Special?
I believe it's the one with 38 Special, but that one's coming close second.
Yeah. It's funny that you worked with those artists like early on, because the ceiling is kind of like, there's not like, oh, I get to maybe one day work with these crazy artists.
Exactly.
And that's cool because like on your EP, you have a couple features, but really it is like you trying to like do your thing and show your style.
Yes, definitely.
Do you like working with, like, do you like doing solo stuff?
I do like doing solo stuff just because that's when I feel like kind of become greedy and I'm like, it's my time to shine. It's my time to take this 3 minutes and really try to grab you. So whatever you want to listen to, however you want to like listen to it, either in your car, on your headphones, wherever, just listen to it as loud as you can and listen to what I'm saying.
How do you put a song together? Do you like get a hook for it? Do you write the verses for it first, or is it just kind of comes how it comes?
I usually start off with the chorus because I've been told that I can make some pretty catchy choruses. So I usually start off with the chorus and then just go verse, chorus, verse 2.
Were you always that way?
Not really. I didn't have as much structure as I do now. Like I'm very OCD. Like with how I do everything. So it was kind of sloppy back then with everything I did. Like I would probably start off like with a verse and then throw a chorus in like the middle somewhere. But
it's funny like learning the like the theory behind, you know what I mean? Like you have the talent to do something, but you don't know how exactly to put it all together.
Yeah.
Do you have like what do you want to do next?
As far as
music, like
I want to do as many live shows as I can with my crew and just push Struggle Cartel as far as possible.
Like the world's opening back up. Do you have anything lined up?
We don't have anything lined up right now, but we're going to as soon as we get the clear that all of us can go up on stage and do what we have to do.
It's cool to hear that because I feel like there's sometimes people don't care about the live performance. Like rappers don't care about like the live performance aspect of it. It's just what can we do in the booth?
Yeah.
And which is cool, but like, I don't know, live performance is like a big part of it. Like I've seen rappers who can't put on a live performance and I like lose a little bit of respect or credibility with them.
Definitely. Because you can listen to a song and be like, oh, that was fire, but you're going to remember a performance.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, I was there. I've seen him in person. Like I've seen how he does what he does.
Do you have things that you want to do outside of music, like creatively that you want to do?
Creatively, I would love to make more videos, not just for myself, But for probably more people in my crew, I would love to help just pursue Struggle Cartel more. Just keep pushing it.
Filming music videos.
Yeah, if I could, because when I did it in school, it was definitely a great feeling.
Have you done any outside of school?
I haven't yet. I haven't. But like, if I had the equipment and I had everything, I definitely would know how to.
Have you shot anything for your EP?
For my EP, not yet, but there is a video coming probably, or I'm going to be shooting a video probably next month.
For which track?
Come Correct with JJ.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Do you have like a theme for it yet?
I do, but I don't want to spoil it.
All right. Yeah. Wait for that to drop. Wait for that to drop.
Very soon.
Was that your first full project at all that you put out?
That was not my first full project. I had another self-titled project, same dude, that came out last year.
And how many tracks are on that?
5 tracks, I believe.
We're looking at
5 tracks.
We're looking at the manager.
8. Same dude was 8.
8.
Probably 8.
How many tracks? I mean, do you think you've made 7 tracks?
7 tracks.
In total, like, do you focus on one track for a long time, or do you like make a lot and then you pick from that?
There are definitely times where I can focus on a song for a long time, but there are also times where it's like rapid fire, and I can just go and like make it like 3 or 4 songs like in a day. But I definitely will go back to it because I know that I won't like everything that I was saying in that exact moment.
Are there what artists do you want to work with? Do you have like?
I would love to work with. There's so many people that I would love to work with. I would love to work with. Okay, hold up. Buffalo rappers or like big.
Let's do Buffalo rappers first, and then we'll go on.
Buffalo
to big
rappers. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to work with Love Boat Luciano from BSF.
Shout out Love Boat.
Yeah, I fuck with his flow heavy.
You like that trappier stuff?
I do. I feel like it's where I shine. Another Buffalo rapper I would like to work with, probably K Pistol. K Pistol's fire.
I don't know K Pistol.
He's super fire.
All right, I'll have to check him out. Yeah.
Check him out. But big time rappers, I would love to work with like legends. I would say like Method Man, like that would be like all time.
Yeah.
Not to just make my dad proud, but just to be like, I have a song
with Method Man. Yeah, that would be great.
On some trap stuff, probably like Jack Harlow, just because he's like big and it would be a big name.
Do you like Jack Harlow?
I do like.
I love Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow's fire.
Yeah, I've liked him how I first heard him when I heard him with Sci-Hi the Prince is how I first found him, because I was like, I love Sci-Hi. So I was like, oh, a feature with Sci-Hi, and I was like, oh, he can actually spit. Like,
yeah, I heard him probably like earlier on when he was making like Cody Banks and like Sylvia, and like all that stuff. So
yeah, he's great. Yeah. I love like. Especially in Buffalo, there's not a lot of like the trappier stuff. Like I know YN Billy is in Buffalo, but he signed to Griselda, and he's like that Atlanta trap. I mean, I love all of it. Like I love Playboy Cardi, I love Lil Uzi Vert. Right. Like I love the last concert I went to was Young Dolph and Key Glock. Like I love all that shit.
That was probably a good.
That was dope as shit. Yeah. But you like the trappier stuff too.
I do like the trappier stuff, but I like that Buffalo hard gritty.
The grimy.
Yeah, the grimy.
How about other than Jack Harlow, who?
I would probably have to say people like always these questions. Like I feel like I always just forget.
It's a tough one, yeah.
Let me think.
Like who are you listening to right now?
I'm listening to a lot of can I bring my
bring your phone out. I'm gonna look at who I'm listening to too. And we can go over this.
Oh, Dave East.
Dave East is he's so good.
Dave East is so fire. That album that he just put out with Blanco, Pablo and Blanco, the EP.
Dave East is amazing.
I can't believe I didn't say this, but Pop Smoke. I would have loved to have had a song with Pop Smoke. I'm a huge fan of Pop Smoke.
It's funny because I kind of see the not influence, but like your latest track was that you were on was Nocturnal Riding.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the song?
Yep.
And that was that like New York, style.
Gritty,
Yeah. And
definitely.
and you have that kind of deep bassier voice. I was supposed to see Pop Smoke. I had concert tickets. I mean,
that's crazy.
What happened to him is worse than me missing a concert. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like, damn, it would have been cool to see him. Like, that's happened a few times. Like, I'd love to have seen. I was supposed to see Fredo Santana with Chief Keef, but then Fredo OD'd, and I never got to see him. And I've seen Chief Keef, but like Fredo was like, that was one of my favorites.
Right.
You know,
right? Chicago, huh?
Yeah, I love. Like, all right. What are your favorite rap cities outside of Buffalo?
I'd probably Chicago is definitely one of them. With Polo, definitely Now and Chief and Fredo, like you said.
Yeah.
Atlanta's got some really nice people, some really good people. Out of New York, I listen to a lot of New York rap, so it probably would have to be like the Chicago area.
Okay. Do you listen to any of the like Detroit Flint shit? Like Sada Baby, or even like YNJ, or like I love YNJ. People shit on him, but I love him. Like I love that Rio to Young OG, like Crispy Life Kid, Grind Hardy, T Grizzly. Love that shit. Yeah.
Yep.
I swear Vezzo is one of my favorites. I love that Detroit shit. It is the like cold northern cities. There's a lot of great rap out of them.
Definitely.
And I mean, but it is for like like Chicago, Detroit,
Atlanta.
Well, Atlanta's not the cold. That's not cold, but it is funny. Then there's like Atlanta and Memphis, and a lot of shit in Florida is. I like Florida rap too, which I'm surprised. It's like Buffalo. Like I'm surprised Buffalo rap is like a scene, like an actual scene.
Yeah.
Does it feel like it's a scene in the city?
Definitely no. I definitely feel like music for the city has been crazy with as far as not just BSF and Griselda, but even with just Mike pushing as much as he has, like just bringing everyone together. Like it's crazy to just see how many people really want this to work for everyone.
It is like I came for the Buffalo Kids opening, but it was crazy to see the amount of people who were like there just for like a rap music event, a rap music event. But like for an event like that in the city who came into Buffalo, it was wild.
I would believe so.
And it feels that way in the city. Is it like cutthroat in the city, or is it supportive? I know you guys are supportive.
It can be cutthroat. It definitely can be cutthroat at some points, but I usually stay around the people that want to, push the push and push to help.
And support.
Yeah.
And you are young, so you're not jaded about it. And I think you like have a mindset where I don't think you'd like become jaded. It's also cool, like having your dad support, and he knows the game. He knows like what's going on. He knows the people that want to help you, and he does help you with it.
Yes, he does.
That's such a big thing that I don't think a lot of people have.
No, a lot of support systems.
And outside of that, having other support systems like, Mike and all this is Speedy. Like, it's wild. It was so. I still am laughing about Speedy with hair. I had never seen him. I had never seen Speedy with the dreads before.
It's classic.
What you said you want to like go? Do you want to try to do more of the like New York drill or like the trappier stuff?
I would love to. I've been told that I should do some not R&B, but like
Do you sing?
I do not sing. I'm a baritone. My voice is so low.
You could sing.
I probably could sing. Like
have
Frank
you ever
Sinatra.
tried? Have you ever tried?
Yes.
Like on a track singing?
Yes, I have. There's a couple that didn't make the album, thank God. But
how do you feel about the singing? Stick to rap.
No, again, I would have to be like Frank Sinatra and just kind of like smooth it out.
Yeah.
Like it would have to be like one of those, not like upbeat type of stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to have a vocal coach.
Like
someday.
take lessons in that.
That would be awesome.
And that's another thing. It's like you don't realize you need it like until you're in it. Because if you do that, that will help you push forward. It's funny. There's shout out Kid L. Actually, shout out Kid L. He was just featured on Snoop Dogg's page. Former guest Kid L. He has a podcast where he like reviews music. Like people send in their videos and he reviews them. It's called the Fug You Talking About podcast. Check it out. It's hilarious. It's really, but it's like all these rappers who use auto-tune and stuff. It's like they don't have a good enough voice anyway, and they do
pull it off.
And they need the vocal coach lessons, you know, like and at least you realize that, like, you're not.
There's
like,
nothing to be ashamed about. Like that's why they have vocal coaches.
Exactly. You need like a team to do everything because you can't do it all on yourself because then you can't focus on. Like this podcast, I have producers that help me because I want to focus on, you know, coming to Buffalo and trying to do the best interview I can and like being able to listen to your projects. And I don't want to have to focus on like the details of it. Exactly. Do you see yourself like leaving Buffalo, trying to go to a different scene?
Meaning like leaving, like
not even full time, but like moving somewhere for a little bit to like try music.
Definitely.
Where do you want to go?
It sounds crazy, but I would love to go somewhere like peaceful, like, and just have my own, like, just like my own space and just come up with the craziest shit I ever made. Like Maine, like Bailey Island, Maine. It's my favorite place.
You have this planned out. You already have.
It's my favorite place on planet Earth. I'm going to make the greatest music I ever made out there.
That's a real, I don't know if you've ever heard of the rapper Danielson.
I have, actually.
So
sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he he has like a camp up in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know. And he just goes and he doesn't like have his phone really. He just like fishes and makes music and just lives in the wilderness. And he can kind of get away from the like world of it.
See, like I like a year ago I would say like California. But I don't know, you know who G-Eazy is, right?
Yeah.
And he started going out to like just these like crazy places in like Nebraska and just like weird places. But he started to like really get himself in a good mindset and he started putting out the best music of his life. And again, like I would go to California to have a great time, make music. I don't know if I could stay out there.
Yeah, because there's distractions.
Lots.
Like, I don't know how you feel about this, but like to get my podcast to get more listens, I have to promote it. I have to be on social media. I have to try to get followers. I have to try to cut clips. And I don't want to be on social media. I don't like social media that much. I would rather just like, us have this conversation. I put it out and it just people find it. Yeah,
people find it.
But that's not how it works. I have to spend all this time.
That's the dream.
Like promoting it, doing all this. And then it sucks up my time. I'm just on my phone the whole time.
Yep.
And
I definitely feel that.
Not that because I love it. And I don't like complaining about the art. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like they don't do it, but it is like social media. It does like suck up your time. Like I do want to just go out into the woods and just like,
right.
You know, like that's the dream.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really work out that way. Especially for me. I feel like you could do that. Realistically, you could get to a place where you could go out for 6 months and just make music.
See, that's exactly it. Is I would go out there for a little bit, but then come back with amazing just music that is so personal and just like something that you've never heard of.
What do you like when you write now? Do you try to go into that place? Like, do you? Because you said you write with like other people in the studio sometimes, so it's funny to hear like sometimes you just want to be alone when you write.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can be more like personal when you're alone? You can like get more emotional in your music.
I definitely can. I have a lot of songs that I've written during a different time in my life that are definitely gonna see the light of day at some point. But yeah, it's just a different outcome when you're by yourself and when you're actually when you have all your thoughts like together and you're not getting different say like, hey, you should do this, or hey, you should do this. Like it's just
Did you grow up in the city?
I did.
So you've had this, like I grew up kind of in like the middle of nowhere for a good chunk of my life.
Right.
And so like with stand up, I need an audience. Like I can't do it. So when I was younger, I had all this time in the woods, just like peace and quiet. So I'm like done with that now. I'm like, fuck it. Let me be in a city. Like I want to be around people. I want to be. It's like the opposite. Yeah. And it's funny that, you know, you come from the opposite end of that. You're like in the city and now you just kind of want some peace and quiet.
Right. I sound like an old man.
No, you're getting to an age where you can, like you're 19. Yeah. So you can start to make your own life decisions.
Exactly.
You know, up until 18, really like you can't make decisions for yourself.
Exactly.
It's cool that you were following your dreams before that, though.
Yes, I knew what I wanted for my life for a while,
and that you actually did it, because I knew I wanted to do stand up at 16, 17, and I like would do things without actually. I would do everything but perform. You know what I mean? I'd go to the shows, I'd meet the people, I'd do improv, I'd write the jokes, I would do, but I wouldn't get up on stage by myself and do stand up. Making that first step is like what holds a lot. Some people can never do that.
It's a leap. It really is.
Have you do you have friends who want to rap like that you like try to get to, or do you like if you do it you got to make that push yourself?
I have a lot of friends that will try to rap when they're around me, and not like some of them are serious, but like
but not serious.
But not serious. But yeah, there's just they know that that's what I want to do. So they have really helped me.
Because talent is part of it. Of course, you have to be talented at something, but discipline and consistency over a long period of time is the only thing that'll get you success. You know, because
definitely.
Look, you're 4 years, you've been doing it heavy. The consistency over that time is what probably makes you stand out over your peers.
Right.
Shout out, what's going on?
What up, Blaze?
Next case, Blaze, what's going on? We're just finishing up here. I love the outfit. I'm glad you didn't get caught riding the bikes.
It's you on time.
But no, the consistency over a long period of time. Do you ever feel like, I know I asked you, but do you feel like, no, I just want to keep pushing harder?
I definitely want to keep pushing harder because I'm not where I want to be at yet. I definitely have more goals and things that I want to do with my life. As far as music. You
talked about like G-Eazy and Jack Harlow. And I'm not the biggest fan of G-Eazy, but I see like what he is, what like his talent. And I like Jack. I actually do like Jack Harlow. Do you see yourself like trying to go for a more like poppy path? Or do you see yourself like trying to stay?
I definitely see myself doing that New York, real gritty stuff. Like that poppy stuff. It's a dream for sure. But I definitely see myself staying with that New York kind of, not even underground, but like, you know, that kind of style.
Yeah, well, you were talking about Pop Smoke, and I think he had a lot of songs that were like, oh, this is a lot poppier and like R&B-esque than I would have expected.
Definitely.
But then he has like, after Death, he kind of became like a pop rapper, but before he was like tough. Like he was a tough rapper before like he blew up kind of, you know?
Yeah.
Which sucks that it blew up after he died. You know what I mean? Because then there's so many people biting that kind of his style, his sound.
I mean, people really didn't like him at first because they said like that he sounded like 50.
Mm-hmm.
And then 50 went to executively produce his album and made it into what it is now, triple platinum, whatever it is.
You like that album?
Amazing. I love that album.
Do you like the other artists like Chef G or Sleepy Hollow from that shit?
I do like Chef G. I do like Sleepy Hollow. I like 22 Jeezy. I don't think that he's with that same group.
No, because he's like, I love Kodak. So, and he's like, I don't know if he's still Sniper Gang, but he came
I'm
up
100%.
But he came up Sniper Gang.
Yeah.
And Kodak, I do love we were talking about Florida. Like, I love the Florida, like Kodak, Jack Boy. I mean,
it's a good vibe.
We're talking about people who died and then became something different after they died. But like, I liked XXX before when he was like just like that emo screaming, like angry shit. I hated when he became all like
that, like Revenge.
It was. Oh, it was just so like
it was different.
Yeah,
it's industry, man.
It is the industry. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like we're going towards like more industry or like more independent?
Certain places in this music industry are going towards certain things. Like, I feel like there's a group that won't let it get towards that way. Like, that's why we're not fully industry. Like, there are people that won't fall into that. Like, one of the biggest ones now, like, I'm not really like a huge fan of him, but Russ, he is an independent artist and he's made millions off of making his music for himself and being on TuneCore. All that is him. Just him. So
yeah, it is. And I think like you look at like, I think the end of it was like the 6ix9ine where it's like, oh, they fully created a character and then tried to sell it, and that shit's not happening. I mean, look at Buffalo, that's mostly independent. I mean, of course they signed with Shady and shit like that for an album deal, but it is like independent.
People forgot about that, I think. It's more just like Conway and West Side Gun as themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Yeah. And Wes always staved that shit.
Yeah.
You said you have these heartfelt, more emotional songs that will see the light of the day. Do you have like another project coming?
I will have another project. If it's not by the end of this year, it'll be at the very beginning of next year. But I will have. I'm not sure if it's going to be all heartfelt, but there might be a couple of them on there.
And you have the music video that you're shooting next month. And do you have a couple tracks coming out on the new Ties. The new Struggle Mike album? Yep. That's dope.
Yep. Super excited about that. Yep.
Oh, well, with shout out Body Bag.
Yep,
shout out Body Bag. That's awesome.
I can't wait for the people to hear it.
I might have to ask to hear that afterwards.
Oh, you should.
Man, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate our conversation, and I really hope to see, you in the future and grow and you come to New York, but I want to see like what you have coming because I'm a big fan of your stuff.
Thank you, man.
Do you want to promote or give your social media and everything?
Sure. You can follow me on Facebook at Same Dude Rep 716. Follow me on Instagram, search up Same Dude. You can follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to me, search up Same Dude. You find me there.
Awesome.
Same Dude.
Stream all that shit, and you can
stream
subscribe to Bucked Up.
Subscribe to Bucked Up. He's the man.
Peace.
Peace.